Hello everybody and welcome to this tutorial about making eyes that follow your player. And we're going to do the eye in Houdini, the mesh. It's going to be pretty quick. And then we're going to do all the things in shader. So if you look at the screen, you can see these eyes and no textures, everything is in shader. And if I walk in closer, they get activated, start looking at me like this. Then when you get further away, they kind of get deactivated. So yeah, I'm going to show you how to make this. And I'm actually inspired from Stray. So if you ever play this game, you know what I'm talking about. And I really like this game. So you see the eyes on the wall here, they're looking at you. Yeah, here and in the back. I really liked it. So that is actually the one that inspired me. So yeah, and I'm gonna show you from scratch how to do this. It's yeah, so it's gonna be different parts, and I'm gonna just set up the scene in the first tutorial here, and in the next tutorials I'm gonna do the actual shader for the eye. So if you look at this eye here, and so you have the eye focus here, so you can focus the eye, and you have the white on what kind of color you want the eye to be, and the eye veins, you know, these kind of veins over here. Yeah, I guess it's pretty self-explain. So here is the color on the eye if we want another color. So yeah. So let's get started in an empty scene for this. So the first thing, sorry. So the first thing we need to do is to make sure we have this, let's see, 2D, what am I looking, starter asset, this one. You need to make sure you have this one installed, and also the samples, controller samples. So you just make sure you have it, import it in the package manager. And then you find it here in the samples, and let's see, samples, starter assets, and here in third-person shooter. So this is the scene, and I'm just gonna drag in this playground here, and this is the default scene you can play with. And I'm just gonna take this player, camera. Yeah, is that all? No, player, follow camera. No, yeah, wait. Oh yeah, okay, so we need these three. So you just drag them in your scene, and then you can just remove scene and don't save it. So now if you play, you have this basic character, right? So that's good. And the next thing we're going to make sure we have is the eye. So in Houdini, first off, I'm going to make sure I save it in my, I want it to be in next to my scene here. So I'm going to do show in Explorer. And then I get this one up, and I'm going to just copy this path and make sure I save this file next to my other file. So I'm doing it here. And it's going to be like this. Nice. So now I have it saved over here. So that's cool. And the first thing, we're going to make a geometry node, and we're going to have a sphere. So I'm going to have this one, and I'm actually going to rotate it 90 degrees. And the reason is because I want this to be the front. And if you look in the corner here, you see that if I do like this, you see the Z direction. Yeah, you see the Z direction over here is going in this direction here. So that's why I'm rotating it. And I'm going to make a group because I want to select. I want to select the front part here. And the way I do that is I put this group and I do remove base enable and do keep in bounding regions. And I use this box here and I just kind of keep this part. I'm leaving 3 areas or 4 areas. Like this part I keep. And then I do a split node. And now in this part, I'm going to do a UV pelt. So now I kind of pelt UV map this one, right? And if I look here, you can see this is how it's done. And I want it to be covering all the UV space. I'm just going to do an UV layout like this. And this one going to just automatically just fill it out like this. So now we're just going to make this one here, merge, and this one here. And you see the lines going in different orders. I just want it like this, so I click here. And now we have the eye socket like this. So this is going to be the back side. We will never see that part. And also in the shader going to make it all red. And this is going to be the front part. And I'm just going to make a fuse node because we had 2 parts. So we have 290 points and here we have 266 points. And after this one, we're just going to do a transform, make it 100 times bigger to compensate for the Unity difference with Houdini and Unity. And then we're going to do a ROP FBX. And this is going to be the eye. And you see this says hip here, so it will be saved next to the hip file. And it's going to be named eye. So if we save this one, and I'm going to save this file, save. You see here, we have the eye. This is great. So if we look at this one in the wireframe, this is going to be the front part because we did it in the Z direction. No, okay. So this is the forward and this is the negative. So yeah, and you can also see it on the arrow here, the blue arrow itself. So this is going to be the front part. So I'm actually going to take the player and I'm going to just move him and rotate like this. So we always have the front face like this. So let's make our basic eye shader. It's going to be eye. And we're going to make a material. And this one going to be here. And what we're going to do, actually, I'm going to go back here and make here. So what happens when you save a file with FBX like this? The mesh on the FBX file going to be named as transform1. So if we want to do that to another one, we can do like this. We can do eye socket. Well, actually not socket, but eyeball. Eyeball like this. And if we save it again like this and go back to Unity you see this is the name of the FBX file, but if we open it up, you see eyeball. And the reason I want to change this is because if we go into the eye shader, and here we just do custom mesh and we do eyeball, we can find it like this. So here we have the mesh, and what we want to do, we're going to make sure that we, first off, I'm just going to check my notes here. What we're going to do, okay, so the first thing, we're just going to make a point here to know that we are doing everything correct. If we do tiling and offset and we do a distance, and if we do the distance in the center like this, then we can just do add, and we do ceiling here. If we now remove this part a little bit, you see we get an eye dot here. That's gonna just be the basic for this tutorial. We're gonna update it later. So here we have our new eye, and we're gonna have a float here. So that's eye focus, and this is gonna be a slider from 0 to 1. So if we do this one and do a remap, so the float's always going to be from 0 to 1. So the min and max is going to be 0 to 1. And here we want to control the size on this one. So if we do, let's say here the value is, if we paste it here, so maybe it's a little bit confusing, but here it's negative and here it's positive. We're just going to do like negate it. So if we do like this, negate, and put it in like this, we're going to have this size from being 0 to this big. So now we don't have anything here. But if we do on the eye focus, open it up until 1, you see we have this size. So when the focus is, this is going to be like the maximum size. And the minimum going to be 0.01 or 0.2. Let's say that. And we try like this. And if we do like this, this is going to represent the size. So what we've done now, if we go back to the scene, here we can just do like this, slide like this to kind of visualize where the eye focus. In the reality, it's more about where, how much light it needs. But we're going to have it like focus thing. So I have a script as well that we're going to place on this eye. And I'm going to show you how it works. So the eye has two things, player and the distance start look at. So if we only focus on this script here, so we got a player, and instead of just putting this player in, this one will look at some focus area. So we're just going to make create empty and look at target. And in this asset here, we're going to place this look at target in here. And we're going to make sure that we place it here somewhere, so the eye looking at this area and not at the feet. And the eye wants this look at target over here. And if we play now, you see it looks. And if I walk here and it's getting activated, it kind of start looks like this. So this is good, this works. So I'm gonna show you the code so you understand that part. So here is the code. And this is everything you see on the screen, that's the code. So what you need to make sure you have first off is using Unity mathematics, because we are using it down here in as a remap. So the first thing is we have the player where the eye is going to look at, and the distance. That's how far or how close the player needs to be before it starts looking at you. And this is the eye material, and this is the rest look direction. So whenever we start the game, wherever the eye is looking at, it's going to be the rest direction. So here you see start, we're setting the rest direction to the position, and the eyes forward. And so if I just make a copy of this one and do like this, and put it up here, and we do play. You see, they will have different rest positions. So yeah, and also this thing here matters. So we don't populate the material by ourselves. We do it in code, and by doing this, because the script is attached to the eye, when we do get component mesh render dot material, we are getting the material, and the way when you take it like this, you get an instance of the material. And why this matters is because when we play, we want to treat them as two different materials, and that's because we want the pupils to grow and shrink not on the same time. So it's actually going to be two materials at runtime. So if we do if I do like this public, so now you see here that we have no material, and when we do press play, eye material gonna get instance. So you see here it's picking up the eye as an instance, and if we press stop, this eye gets back to a non-instance. So that's a good detail to know. And then we have in the updates, what we do, we always do the current distance to the player, and if the current distance is less than 5 here, that means the eye will start to look. And then we do this lerp value that kind of increment when you are closer. And here you have, if the player is far away, more than 5 units, then the lerp value will decrease in value. And then we do here max is like the maximum value going to be 0 or lerp value. So we will never go below 0. And here we do min, so it's going to be a minimum 1 or the lerp value. So here it's never going to be more than 1. So here we do the pupil size. So we here you see eye focus, and that we made that before here. Here's eye focus. So this is the reference that we reference. And by doing that, we having this value remapped and shrink and grow this one. And here, pupil size is math.remap. So it's between 0 or distant to start to look. So it's going to be from 0 to 5. And we're going to remap it to 0 to 1. And we're going to do here I do one negative lerp value. So that means it's always, because we do, if it's too far away, the lerp value is going to be 0. Then we do 1 negative 0, so it's 1. That means it will be 1 value, and we put 1 value in here. Yeah, no, here you see the plus. This is when it gets positive. So then we lerp to the so so we remap it between 0 and 1, and we use that down here. So when we this is interesting. I'm not using this. This is old code. Okay, we're gonna do like this. I don't know why what's happened here, but forget about this one. So what I do here, I'm just picking the lerp value directly into the eye focus here. And then the same thing, I do a vector look at, and I do a vector lerp, and the rest look direction, and the player position, and the lerp value. And then we just do this look at, and this is the code. So this is working good. So in the next tutorial, we're gonna dive into the shader and make the shader look really good. So this works good, and yeah, thank you so much for watching.